Digimon is a series I fondly remember as a kid growing up in the 90s. Of course it had the likes of Pokemon to compete with, but Digimon was unique in its own way, mainly with the virtual pets that you could raise and battle with friends, which has seen a bit of a resurgence these days. Today though, we're going to be looking at the next game in the Digimon Story series with Digimon Story Time Stranger. Following from its predecessors in the Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth games, Digimon Story Time Stranger will have you interacting with, training and battling Digimon in turn-based battles in both the real world as well as the digital world. For transparency, a copy of this game was provided courtesy of a publisher. In Digimon Story Time Stranger, which I'll just shorten to Time Stranger going forward, you can choose to play as a male or female character with the default names of Danuki or Kananuki respectively, though you can change your main character's first name. The game is set in Shinjuku, one of the wards of Tokyo, Japan, in the year 2028. You play as an agent for an organisation called Adamas, with the character you didn't choose acting as your operator. Adamas investigates strange and unusual occurrences not explainable by science, and you've been sent to Shinjuku to check out the unusual things there. Eventually you come across the Wall of Hope, a large, wall, built following an event that happened 8 years ago. As you sneak into the tunnels under the wall, you eventually encounter phase electron lifeforms, otherwise known as Digimon. To defend yourself, Adamas sends you a partner Digimon for you to choose from, and as you navigate the tunnels you come across a mysterious girl whom you decide to help, and the two of you make your way to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government building, or what's left of it, as Digimon are running wild within it. After getting to the top of the building while dealing with Digimon and what appears to be some machine, you reach the rooftop, and after fighting a Digimon at the top, a wormhole opens and a fist flies out, hitting the machine and destroying the surrounding area. You awaken briefly at an unknown location and chase a shadowy figure to ultimately find yourself in Shinjuku, but in the past. Your goal now is to figure out what's going on and try to stop the events of the future in an adventure spanning not just the real world, but in the digital world too. But is this game any good? Find out in The Good. The game's story is where it shines, or you would hope so given that it has story in its title. Though fun fact, Digimon Story has been the Japanese title for a bunch of games in the series since the DS entries, which were originally localized as Digimon World DS. Anyway, the game is set in the same universe as the Cyber Sleuth games, though in a different continuity, so you don't need to have played the Cyber Sleuth games to understand the key parts of the story. As opposed to exploring cyberspace, Time Stranger has you exploring a part of the digital world known as the Digital World Iliad after a certain point in the game. The game has you not just helping people in the real world, but also Digimon in Iliad as you try to figure out how to stop the events that take place 8 years in the future, while your operator is telling you how things are going over there. When you arrive in Iliad, this is where the game's story really picks up, and I enjoyed going to the different locations there and piecing things together. While playing through the main story, side quests may also open up to add a little bit to the world building, and by completing these you can gain agent points which are used to not only strengthen your Digimon, but ultimately allow you to digivolve them into their stronger forms. Without going into too much detail either, the game's story also tackles some reasonably dark themes of consequences that can result from conflict, and I do appreciate the more mature approach to the story in that regard. While a little on the slower side to start with, once the story picks up in Time Stranger, it's hard to put down. For those wanting to play the game with English voices, you're in luck, as this game does have an English dub. Raising Digimon and training them is also another thing I really enjoyed about the game. This game has 450 plus Digimon, so you're a little spoiled for choice, and if you had grown up with the series or played other games from the franchise, you'll most likely be able to add Digimon you remember or like into your team. Unlike the Cyber Sleuth games where Digimon had fixed stats, you can potentially max out your stats in this game, and this can be done through using items, training a Digimon in the Digifarm which you can access from the In-Between Theatre run by series regular Mirai Mikagura, or by digivolving and reverting them. As you do this with your Digimon, its bond and talent will go up, and the higher the talent, the higher the max level your Digimon can reach. As you communicate with your Digimon and train them on the farm, they can also change personalities as well as personality skills. The latter is very handy as this can give you an edge in battle, such as entering battle with raised stats or increasing the amount of HP or SP recovered when using recovery skills, for example. Digimon are also classed into different types, with some naturally stronger or weaker than other types. The series have traditionally followed the rock, paper, scissors format with this, with virus beating data, data beating vaccine, and vaccine beating virus. To add to this, Digimon also have elements to their attacks which are strong or weak against one another as well. The Digimon themselves don't have an element, but do have weaknesses and strengths against them, so there's another layer to things. I do like some of the challenge missions added to this game as well as some of the combat and gameplay elements. As you explore, you may come across outer dungeons. These dungeons provide you with different types of challenges, ranging from just reaching the boss Digimon at the end of an area, or fighting a gauntlet of Digimon, to having to defend Digimeat from being eaten by a horde of Digimon, or racing a pixelated Digimon in a race where you have to navigate around obstacles, to name a few. I did enjoy the variety, and it's certainly a little bit of fresh air from regular gameplay. Time Stranger has enemy Digimon visible on the map, and you can choose to have them touch you to initiate battle, or press a button for your Digimon to perform a Digi attack on them so you can get the first strike in and do a little bit of damage to them at the same time. If your Digimon are strong enough, you may even just defeat the enemy Digimon instantly on the map and get the XP from it. When it comes to battling, quite often you'll have a guest Digimon with you for a portion of the game. This guest Digimon is one that you don't have to worry about, as they'll have an unlimited amount of HP and SP, so it's an absolute relief when the enemy decides to attack them instead of you. To make battles even easier, you can even use items without taking a turn. However, you may only use one item during each of your Digimon's turn to balance things out. Outside of battle, by standing still your Digimon can fully recover, with the more damage to heal requiring you to stand still for longer. This does make the game less frustrating, and you can save your items for where they really need to count. With that though, we've reached the end of what I liked about the game, so let's look at what I didn't like in the bad. I was not a huge fan of the Digimon Ultimate card game this game has incorporated into it. The card game itself is just having Digimon cards duke it out with each other, which sounds great on paper, but the game seems to be heavily influenced by RNG or random number generation. Digimon in the Digimon Ultimate card game are represented by their typing as well as a number corresponding to their Digivolution stage. You and your opponent draws 5 cards each, and you each take turns playing cards to battle one another. The vaccine, data and virus triangle plays some part in determining who wins as a modifier, but it seems to be random, as I've had lower numbered cards beat higher ones, or have lost to opponents who have played Digimon with lower numbers against me, despite the type advantage or disadvantage. Thankfully, you don't lose anything if you lose, and you can always rematch your opponent until you win. But the random nature of this game really wasn't a lot of fun, and I was just persevering through it just for the sake of completion. If you do beat an opponent, depending on how many of the 5 rounds you've won determines how many cards you get to take from your opponent as prizes. And if you're lucky and you know a thing or two about Digimon, you may even get a bonus draw during a match, which could make or break whether you're winning or not. The only redeeming factor about this card game is that the battles remind me of the old Digimon virtual pets fighting one another, and the sole fact that this is completely optional and you don't have to play it to progress the main story. The only other pet peeve I had with this game is the interaction with your partner Digimon. Sometimes when you're standing still to heal, your Digimon might have something to say, and when you talk to them, they'll ask you a question, and how you answer may alter their personality, as well as offering you a personality skill to replace what you currently have equipped on that Digimon. Sometimes Digimon in your box or reserves may ask you a question via your Digivoice, and you can respond to them that way too. Problem is that the questions are generally recycled among all Digimon, so you'll be coming across Digimon asking the same questions very often, and it's a shame that this couldn't have been expanded on given how personality plays a part into it. Personality is important, as it can sometimes be a requirement for Digivolution, and you can manipulate this via training or having them answer certain questions. But I think a bigger range of questions or side quests or tasks that can help change a Digimon's personality would have worked better for this game. Though I can probably understand that it would have been a Herculean task doing this for over 450 Digimon. Other than that, I don't have anything else to complain about, so let's wrap things up with the opinion. The Digimon Story games I feel get better with each new entry. I liked Cyber Sleuth, Hacker's Memory improved on that, and Time Stranger has improved on that again. I got pretty invested with the game's story as well as trading and improving my Digimon team while enjoying the gameplay and challenge missions. My only gripes with the game were minor at best, with one being completely optional, the Digimon Ultimate card game, and the recycled dialogue with your partner Digimon I think could have been expanded on or handled better as a feature. But I really enjoyed my time with the game, and if you're a big fan of Digimon or if you're down to try a monster collection game, then Time Stranger is right up your alley. It's pretty friendly even if you're not entirely familiar with Digimon, and playing the Cyber Sleuth games aren't required either, though you may recognise some things if you have played them. So with that, it's time for my rating. I would give Digimon Story Time Stranger a Betamon out of 10. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to like, comment and subscribe for more. You can check out our other videos or follow us on X, Instagram and Facebook. Once again, thank you for watching.